estamos grabando. Entonces, estamos grabando. ¿Alguna duda respecto a cómo realizar este workshop? ¿Ninguna? Ya, acá. Les recuerdo que las definiciones que necesito de allí van a requerir también de su investigación, ¿sí? Para ello van a tener que ocupar los libros que les envié. No, no tiene calificación. Paula, no tiene calificación. Nosotros tenemos 3 pruebas. Una prueba escrita, una presentación y un examen final, nada más. ¿Ya? Así que, para que tenga cuidado. Por supuesto, esto lo vamos a revisar el jueves, así que tiene una semana para hacerlo, ¿ya? Y eso. ¿Alguna última duda antes de comenzar? No, estamos. Entonces, sí, yo había compartido mi pantalla. Dropbox, universidades, Umce, grammar intro, slides, grammatical hierarchy. Entonces, ayer nosotros vimos Lexemes, open classes, closed classes, Lexeme, form, function, meaning, Jabberwocky, lexical words. Okay, we're going to make a very brief summary of the lexical words now. But if you want to add or if you want to review them, remember that I sent you an email with some PDF files I used in another university. So perhaps you want to take a look at them as a review, okay? Now, we're going to make this very brief summary, and then we will continue with the idea of phrase. Okay, so nouns, semantics, they refer to concrete physical entities or abstract entities. That is quite obvious. In morphological terms, nouns, they have inflectional suffixes for plural number. Denme un segundo, chiquillos, por favor. Nouns, morphological, have inflectional suffixes for plural number and genitive case. 2 books, Sarah's books. Y aquí les voy a pedir que anoten en donde dice inflectional suffixes for plural number, that is Z1, and inflectional suffix for genitive case, that is Z3. In the examples then, you have that one is a Z1, and this another one is a Z3. Okay. Another thing is the idea of many nouns are uncountable. That is to say, they cannot have a plural form. Ya, voy a poner el iPad y vamos a revisar eso. ¿Alguien tiene alguna duda mientras prendo esto para llenar?
No.
Ya, perfecto. Estamos trabajando para usted.
Profe, pero por ejemplo, en un caso de que un noun se refiera al plural y como no tiene forma plural, no se puede clasificar con Z, o sea, si estamos hablando del contexto, si el contexto de la frase dice que es plural, se tiene que colocar. ¿Sí?
Revisemos.
Okay.
Revisemos. Entonces, lo primero que decimos es que los nouns, they got inflectional suffixes, right? At least 2 of them. The very first of them is for plural form, and that is to say Z1, like in, for example, boys, right? That one is a Z1. So in its analysis would be free morpheme boy, and the other one would be a bound morpheme, suffix, inflected, Z1, right? Right. Now, we have irregular plurals as well. Right? Like the idea of men. In men, the very first stuff we have to say is it is a complex lexeme. I forgot to write it down here as well. It is a complex lexeme made out of free morpheme, which is man, right? And the other one is a bound morpheme suffix, inflected, Z1. So with that in mind, irregular plurals, they contain an inflected morpheme as well, okay? Now, the question about having this uncountable noun, like for example, fish, right? Fish. In real terms, in real terms, like fish are, right? So in this type of usage, fish is being plural, right? So it refers to, is a collective noun. So in that specific case, I can't say fish has an inflected morpheme showing plurality. Then what I just have a free morpheme. Why I don't have that? Why I don't have that is because I can't see any other morpheme attached to this collective noun. So in any case, this just would be a simple lexeme, free morpheme, and then fish. So I encourage you to do it in this way. No sé si con eso respondí su pregunta.
Sí, profe.
Ya. Eso. Volvamos atrás. Vuelvo atrás. Perdón, hay que volver a compartir. Y cierro. Often they contain more than one morpheme, for example, bombshell, bookshelf, singer, brightness. Okay, the third morphological characteristic of a noun has to do with its construction. And with that, we will say that nouns usually contain more than one morpheme, therefore they are usually complex lexemes, right? Or compound lexemes. In the very first two examples of them, bombshell and bookshelf, they are compound, and in singer and brightness, they are complex. Usually nouns are like that, okay? Nouns, syntactic. Nouns can occur as head of a noun phrase. For example, the ugliest person I remember. In that respect, I will have to tell you now the idea of phrase. Okay, so please be very careful and pay attention to what I'm going to say. The phrases, as the definition is saying, are the third element within the grammatical hierarchy, first of all, and then they are composed of lexemes. So I'm going to take the very same example, okay? So this is the ugliest person. The ugliest person. In the PDF, they say that nouns can occur as head of noun phrases, right? And then the PDF gives us this example. So what I'm going to say very first is this idea, head. First of all, when I say head, I'm referring to a phrase, the third element within the grammatical hierarchy. Then the head, its definition might be, I mean, it is the most important important and obligatory element. The most important and obligatory element. Now, if I take a look at this group of words, the ugliest person, then my second question would be, which is the most important word out of those three? So I'm going to read it, right? The ugliest person. What I'm talking about? I'm talking about the ugliest or about the person. I'm talking about a person, right? So person would be the most important one. So in my analysis, person would be the head, right? It is the head. Therefore, it is the most important and obligatory element out of those three, right? Now, what type of word is that? Which word class is that? This is a noun, right? Now, the second question would be, what are the usages for, or why are we using the other two words, right? So if you take a look at this, you can see that it is not any person, right? It is ugliest. Therefore, if you take a look, ugliest is providing an information about person, therefore is working in order to characterize the noun head. As a consequence, ugliest is modifying. And I'm going to add another concept, right? The concept of modifier. Modifier. Okay, modifiers has to do with the idea of phrase, and then they are optional. And their function is to characterize the head, to provide a feature within the head. Okay, so ugliest is modifying person. Now, as it is before the head, we will call it pre-modifier. Pre-modifier. And now, ugliest is an adjective. So it is an adjective pre-modifier. Then I have the, right? And as you can see, the is also providing information about person. It is not any person, it is one specific person that it is on focus. That is to say, we're talking about that specific individual. And for our analysis then, it is also modifying person. So as it is before the head, it is called pre-modifier. Now, the is a determiner, right? Now, I'm going to erase this. Okay, I erase this. With that in mind, as our head is a noun, this is called noun phrase. Okay. ¿Alguna pregunta hasta este momento respecto a esto que es súper importante?
Profe, yo tengo una pregunta sobre el D, o sea, del determinator. Pero eso, ¿cómo? Ya, bueno. Del D, porque eso era como una característica de los Lexemes. Eso también pasa a ser como, se aplica como a las phrases, ¿cierto? O sea, No sé
¿Cómo?
si estoy...
No lo entiendo. ¿Me puede explicar de nuevo?
el Disseminator era como, usted había dicho que era parte de los Lexemes y era parte de las closed classes.
Sí,
So, ¿también se ocupa en el análisis de las phrases? Esa es
sí,
mi pregunta.
sí,
Ya.
exacto. Todo Lexem se va a ocupar, o sea, tienes que pensar que la grammatical hierarchy es una unidad gramatical, muy como su nombre lo dice, ¿cierto? Está hecho de unidades gramaticales y que cada una de sus etapas está constituida por las etapas anteriores. O sea, cuando digo frase, lo que quiero decir es que está hecha de lexemes y que esos lexemes están hechos de morphemes, ¿sí? Es la tercera etapa. Ahora, cuando hablé de open classes, closed classes, lexical words, functional words, inserts, todos esos conceptos ingresan en el análisis de frases, ¿sí? Lo que acabo de mostrar en la pizarra es la forma en la cual se analiza una frase. Es un análisis muy sencillo, ¿ya? Lo que quiero explicar con esto es que los nouns son o pueden ocurrir como noun heads dentro de una noun phrase. Y expliqué el proceso en el cual determinamos el head de una frase cuando preguntamos por la palabra más importante y obligatoria, a través de la cual el resto de ella funciona, y luego de eso explicamos cómo se realiza el análisis de una frase a través de la aparición de modifiers. En este caso, como están antes del head, solo son pre-modifiers. ¿Sí?
Sí, profe,
¿Alguna,
clarísimo.
Perfecto. ¿Alguna otra duda respecto a lo que hice? No quiero avanzar antes de hablar, porque voy a complejizar desde aquí hacia adelante.
¿Existen otros tipos de modifier aparte del pre?
Sí, post modifiers, que los vamos a ver después. Lo dice en la segunda parte del PDF. Dice, nouns can be modified by many kinds of words, both before pre-modifiers or after post-modifiers. De hecho, dentro de los post-modifiers, muy comúnmente vamos a encontrar frases como post-modifiers, pero eso lo vamos a explicar en un ratito más. ¿Alguna otra duda respecto a esto? Asumo que no. Ya, avanzamos. Vuelvo, perdón, había alguien esperando que no estaba viendo la pantalla. Vuelvo atrás. Lexical verbs. Entonces, lexical verbs, they denote action, processes, or state of affairs. They define the role of human and non-human participants in such actions, processes, or states. Well, that's a definition for a verb, in fact. In its morphology, lexical verbs, they have different forms signaling tense, aspect, and voice. No voy a decir nada de eso porque eso lo tenemos que ver en la segunda unidad. Solo que lo sepan por ahora. Often have complex forms with more than one morpheme. For example, bring up, look forward to. Eso es interesante. Bring up y look forward to son lexical verbs, que como primera clasificación. Y su segunda clasificación es de phrasal verb en el primero y phrasal prepositional verb en el segundo. Estoy esperando que cargue. Carga eso. Bring up es un phrasal verb. Como dijimos ayer, un phrasal verb is just one lexeme. Therefore, in its morphological analysis, we will say it is compound, right? Made out of two free morphemes. Bring and up, right? Now, the problem would be if we have something like this. because our analysis will change, right? And as you can see, in our analysis, brings up it is no longer a compound, but complex compound. Why? Because it is made of a free morpheme, bring, and then it will contain a bound morpheme, suffix, inflectional, Z2. ¿Qué significa Z2? Third person, singular, in present simple. Okay, and then we will have the adverbial particle up. Okay, so be careful with phrasal verbs. When they are conjugated, we will use that word, conjugated, right? So be careful with them. In the case of the other verb, the phrasal prepositional verb, we will talk about this later on as well when we review verbs in a much more deep manner, in a deeper manner. Like, for example, look forward to, right? In this analysis, we will say this is compound and made out of one free morpheme, look, and then another free morpheme, forward, and then another free morpheme, to. Okay, with this, let me remember you that compound means one or more, two or more free morphemes. You can have as many as you want, but it will remain as a compound word. Okay, any problem so far? No? Okay. Lexical verbs, syntactic, frequently occur on their own as a single word phrase acting as a central part of the clause. Occur in final or main verb position of verb phrases. Okay, let's review that. We're going to review it. As well as nouns, verbs can be head of phrases. So for example, what happens if I have this? Okay, the big house is red. That's a sentence created by one clause, and that clause is created by phrases. Those phrases are created by lexemes, and those lexemes are created by morphemes. So in the final slide, they were saying that as well as nouns, verbs can be head of phrases on the one hand. Then, then they say that verbs, they can occur on their own, that is to say, one single verb, and or if they appear surrounded by other verbs, the last one would be the main verb. Okay, I'm going to explain that. The very first stuff I have to say, or what I have to do, is looking for the phrases. According to the PDF file, they say that verbs, they create verb phrases. So I'm going to read this, the big house is red. Then I'm going to look for the verbs. The big house is a verb, good. And then they say that they can occur on their own. Therefore, whenever I find a verb, then I will have a verb phrase. Therefore, this is a verb phrase. And I will separate it by using round brackets. Okay? Now, inside that verb phrase, I will have a main verb or a verb head. So as this is the only verb, then it is the head because it is obligatory. As the head is a verb, then this is called verb phrase. Then I have the big house and red. Now I have to know, I must know what type of phrases are those. So this is a hint. In order to look for or to find noun phrases, what I'm going to do is trying to replace them by using a pronoun. And all the elements that are going to be replaced by a pronoun, they form part of a noun phrase. So for example, if I take a look at the big house is red, it is the very same if I say it is red, right? So the big house is a noun phrase, right? I know this is a noun phrase because I can replace it by a pronoun. Then I have to go and then say, which is the most important word. As I already know this is a noun phrase, the only possibility is that the noun inside of that phrase would be the head. The is not a noun, big is not a noun, house is a noun. So this is a noun head. Big then is an adjective and it is providing its meaning to house, therefore is a pre-modifier, and the is a determiner providing its meaning to house, therefore another pre-modifier. Then I've got red. Red is the only word left, so it is a phrase on its own. And as you can see, red is an adjective. Therefore, as it is the only one, would be the head. And as it is the head, this is called adjective phrase. Right? ¿Algún problema hasta ahora?
No.
Ya, maravilloso. Lo que viene ahora entonces es el análisis de cada uno de estos lexemes. Entonces yo voy a decir que the es simple, que está hecho de un free morpheme y que es the. Voy a decir que big es simple, que está hecho de un free morpheme y que el morpheme es big. Voy a decir que house es simple, está hecho de un free morpheme y que ese free morpheme es house. Voy a decir que red es simple, está hecho de un free morpheme y que es red. Pero is, ¿cómo es? Is.
Sería uno complejo.
Excelente, muy bien. Está hecho de un free morpheme que es.
Be.
Muy bien, be. Y está hecho de un bound morpheme, suffix inflectional. ¿Cuál será?
Z2.
Muy bien. Y ahí lo que tenemos, chiquillos, es un análisis morfosintáctico, que es parte de su primera prueba. Este es muy fácil, sí. ¿Queda alguna duda? Este es el momento en el que pregunta, ¿solo se va a volver más complejo?
En el
Profe, en el
chat.
chat.
En el chat, ya, gracias. ¿Siempre los adjective phrase es una sola palabra? No, no siempre es una sola palabra, Yetro. O podría dar algún ejemplo de más palabras. Por ejemplo, very beautiful. Very beautiful. ¿Cuál es la palabra más importante entre esas dos? Beautiful. ¿Qué es beautiful? Un adjective. Entonces, adjective head, entonces adjective phrase. Y very es un adverbio que le está entregando significado a beautiful. Entonces es un adverb. Hagámosla mejor. Entonces, beautiful es el adjective head. Y very es un adverb que le está entregando su significado a beautiful, ¿cierto? Entonces es un adverb pre-modifier. Eso. Con eso queda, responde tu pregunta, Yetro. Muy bien, gracias. ¿Alguna otra pregunta? Este es el momento.
Perdón, era algo del inicio. ¿Por qué entonces se separó el is del resto de la frase como una sola frase verbal?
¿Cómo? Perdón.
La primera separación que hizo de la frase, de la oración
Ujú.
fue separar el is, ¿cierto? Como un
Sí.
verb phrase.
Ujú.
Ya. ¿Por qué solo entonces se separa el is? Porque es el
Porque
único.
verbo. Lo que ocurre es lo siguiente. Lo que ocurre es que en la definición de frase, y también lo vimos antes, ¿no? Cuando hablábamos de lexical words. Cada una de las lexical words va a crear una frase. Entonces, las lexical words son nouns, verbs, adjectives y adverbs. Por lo tanto, vamos a tener noun phrases, verb phrases, adjective phrases y adverb phrases. Eso es primera parte. Segunda parte, dentro de cada frase hay una palabra más importante, que es la que le va a dar el nombre a la frase. Por lo tanto, dentro de una noun phrase, la palabra más importante, entre paréntesis, head, sería un noun. Dentro de una verb phrase, la palabra más importante, entre paréntesis, head, sería un verbo. Por lo tanto, dentro de la misma frase no puedo tener un verbo y un noun como head porque no podría saber qué tipo de frase es. Tercer elemento. Las verb phrases están compuestas, y esta es una pillería, están compuestas solo por verbos. O sea, cada vez que yo veo un verbo, yo veo una verb phrase. Es importante descubrirlas primero o antes que el resto porque nos va a separar la frase, ¿sí? Porque también está lleno de pillería. Si separo la frase con la verb phrase, lo que esté antes de la verb phrase es un sujeto. Los sujetos son entidades, y ustedes ya saben, porque estudiaron, que las entidades son nouns. Por lo tanto, delante de una verb phrase debería haber una noun phrase, casi siempre. O algo que trabaje como noun phrase, ¿cierto? La variación podría estar después. Eso. No sé si respondí a su pregunta.
Sí, ahí me quedó súper claro. Y profe, queda menos de un minuto.
Ya, cortamos y volvemos. De inmediato.